Hey folks, today we're going to look into a chicken's life here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. Hey, on my homestead, we have chickens. A lot of homesteads have chickens. A lot of farms have chickens, and even some urban backyard homesteaders have chickens. Urban people have mainly hens because they don't crow like a rooster does. I remember years ago my aunt had a pet rooster. Yep, he crowed. They lived right downtown. Of course, the laws have changed since then because you got a lot of people that don't like a lot of the noise. Yeah, this is the country. We live in the wilderness. We can have all the crow we want. And just so happens I have, oops, 3 roosters. I thought I only had 2, and primarily I wanted to only have 2 roosters, a heir and a spare is what they call it, in case something happens to my main bird. I have an extra to come in and breed with the hens, and that way they'll lay the fertile eggs, and I'll let the hens hatch out some of the eggs for a new flock. Couple of things I can do with that flock is raise them up for the freezer camp, and also I could sell them. I do raise chickens to maturity. I raise an adult rooster and a couple of hens, and I do list them on Craigslist and sell them. For other homesteaders who are primarily off-grid and they don't want to deal with the cost of setting up warmers and brooders and all that stuff. So I help these guys out just by raising a mature flock, a mature rooster, a couple of hens. That way they can lay the eggs, hatch the eggs, and brood their own chicks. And then that homesteader now has his own flock. The hen house is of my own design. I built it. Actually, it was the first structure I built on the homestead in conjunction with also building the barn. I had saved up recycled, repurposed material, and also when we bought the farm, it was trashed and destroyed. There was a single-wide mobile home here with the flooring that was left and one wall that was left up, but there was a lot of destruction here. So as I was cleaning it up, I salvaged as much of the timber out of the flooring as I could, plus bringing over all of my other resource material I had stockpiled at the other farm and brought it down here. And then I laid it out and saw what I had, took the measurements, and I let the material that I possess dictate the shape and the size of the structure. Now when I built this, I built it with a thought in mind, this is going to house chickens, but I need a little bit of a convenience for me. So the actual chicken house here, it measures 6 by 6, and it's about 6 feet high. It's only 4 feet high on the side, but in the middle I could actually stand up inside. As you get an idea right here as the gauge, the size of this structure. It's elevated 2 feet off the ground, giving headspace underneath for extra floor space, or outdoor floor space for the chicken run, for the chickens to be able to run around in. Also the back area is a big, tall area. It measures 6 by 9. The whole structure measures 6 feet wide, 12 feet long, and 9 feet high. And for the convenience for myself and the wife, I put the egg nests on the outside, so we just lift up the roof. I'll show you later because we got to go collect some eggs while we're out here. And anyway, this is wonderful for the chickens. I can keep them locked in here. They're safe from predators. And if I can remember to put them away, or they put themselves away at night because they always go back to their roost, I just have to close the door. One night, I forgot to close the door, and a raccoon took my last rooster. That's why I ended up having to buy some more chickens, and specifically have to buy some more roosters. Now, this particular breed of chicken I have are called buff Orpington. When I selected a breed of chicken that I wanted, let me digress a minute. When we lived at the other homestead many years ago, when the kids were little, we started raising chickens, goats, rabbits, ducks, geese. We had a lot of livestock. Then we bought this homestead and moved everything down. And I wanted to really determine specifically what type of livestock I wanted, and I want to stick with one breed. We had Barred Rock, we had Rhode Island Reds, among other varieties. I decided on the Buff Orpington for the reason that, a couple of reasons. They're a very domesticated, docile bird. And they're not aggressive at all. I've never had any problems with this breed. Plus, a couple of other advantages. They're really fluffy, real feathery. So they've got a lot of insulation on them to help them through the cold winter months, and especially at our climate, or even our microclimate. Now, mind you, we live high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. So depending on where you live in your climate, pay attention to your climate when you're selecting breeds of animals to raise. You want to keep that in mind. For instance, you really don't want a chicken that's bred for southern United States to try to get them to thrive up in the northern United States or even Alaska, because you're going to have more of an expense on putting heat lamps in and keeping them warm. I would suggest what I have done with my research, and that is select breeds that actually are acclimated to a colder climate. Now, if you live in Florida, select a breed not that's acclimated to a warmer climate or a colder climate, because you're going to have problems. A cold climate critter will have a hard time in a really warm climate. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to pay attention to the type of critters that I get, and that's why I chose the Buff Orpington. Another reason, they dress out the table really nice. I mean, they're real meaty. Man, when you process these birds, they will feed the whole family. Very good meat, by the way. Very good meat. We processed a whole bunch of chickens. Well, one of the times is when you watch our episode on Homestead Rescue, Honey, I Torched the Homestead. At the tail end of the episode, we were processing about 9 chickens, the whole family was. So we do that from time to time. We've been doing it for years, and we'll continue to do that, because that's the part of that's the lifestyle we enjoy having, because we know where our food is coming from. It's also interesting watching these animals, is you can detect each one has their own unique personality when you spend enough time around them. I have to admit, I am an animal lover. I love animals. I love them in 2 ways. I love being around animals. I love being in fellowship with animals, if you will. I also, if you know what I mean, sometimes with a little steak sauce, some onions, some garnish. Yeah, love animals that way too. You know, there's a magazine, one of my favorite magazines. It's called Countryside Small Stock Journal magazine. I wrote an article for them one day, and it's featuring the Easy Clean chicken coop. Yeah, I got that article published. It's in the paper, or in the magazine, and I'm getting ready to write another one too. So yeah, check out that magazine online at Countryside Small Stock Journal. So I'm gonna go ahead. Ooh, we got some ladies here. They're busy. Well, I do have these eggs I can grab, and somebody's been sitting on these recently because they're warm. And it'd be nice to have a couple of hens get broody and start incubating some of these eggs just in time for Easter. Yeah, that's the next holiday season coming up after New Year's. I work these god-awful long hours at work, so I don't get out here and collect eggs every day, but I do try. So this is about 3 days worth of eggs here, plus I don't even know what the girls have under them right now. But I've been blessing some staff members I work with eggs, and also I haven't been selling any lately. Hadn't had really had the need to want to sell them, but I do gift them out, share with the family and friends. And my kids do enjoy free eggs too. And then we got a neighbor down the street, we keep him supplied. Well, I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, tucked high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest, watching and hanging out with buff Orpington chickens. Stay tuned for the next episode. You can do that by subscribing, then clicking that bell icon. That'll alert you to new videos when I do get them produced and uploaded them. Also, give us a thumbs up, like the channel, click that share button. Sharing my videos on your social media platforms really helps us out a lot. Hey, please be safe and always be kind. We'll see you guys in the next episode, all right? Bye-bye.